Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Foundation. I certainly hope you're having a wonderful day because I'm certainly excited to be back. We are, of course, in Nerdsboro, where things are going okay. I don't want to say they're going fantastically just yet because there are some problems. There are people who don't have food. There are people who don't have clothes, and I want to fix that problem. Now, I should mention, between episodes, I played about 90 minutes of this, and I recorded most of it, and then I wound up throwing it out because it just wasn't very good, honestly. It just wasn't a good recording. There was a lot of pausing, a lot of trying to figure things out, just a lot of troubleshooting, and it was just very tedious. So I've thrown that out completely, and I've rolled the save back. So this is pretty much as it was at the end of the last episode. So there's been no visual changes, but I do have some things that I want to do based on what I did in that scrapped recording. So, the first thing I want to do is I want to come over here, and I want to do two things to this little fort. Thing number one is I want to change up the Forbidden Land a little bit, because it's just not really working. So we're going to take all of this out for a second. We'll keep it all for now, that's fine. Take out all of that Forbidden Land. Let me just replace the extraction zone. In fact, honestly, we could probably take the extraction zone just away from there. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is Forbidden Land pretty much, I'm going to say up to about there for the time being, because I really want to try and push this path a little bit more central. So Forbidden Land like that, right? And we need to just fill it out a little tiny bit, because I just really want this path to work in a certain way. I know this is unnecessary, but I have this thing in mind that I think will look cool. So that's going to be our Forbidden Land. That's thing number one. I'm going to let the game run while I do this as well. I need to remember to do that. In fact, 3 times normal speed is probably fine for this. Thing number two is we're going to build a new market. So we are going to have a food stall there. We are going to have a food stall there. We're going to have a food stall right about there. In fact, I want to move this one a little bit. Move that one back a little bit. We're going to have another food stall, and you'll see why in just a second. So another food stall right there, and then a goods stall right about there. So, on each of these, I want a tent. We're going to go red, blue, and red. That one might need moved a little bit. It kind of looks all right. And blue, once again, and red, once again. So that's going to be a nice little market, I think. I kind of just want to try and adjust this slightly. I guess that works. This one could probably be moved a little bit more central to about there works as well. So that's going to be, in this order, berries, fish, bread, deer, and then clothes. All right, so around this, I do want to do some fences. We're going to do a fence that just goes sort of like this along the side of the market, because I want the market to feel a little bit enclosed, if I'm honest. I just think that's going to be better. So the market's going to sort of come around like this. The fence can sort of go like that. So it just comes in a little bit nicely. Over here, going to be a similar story. So a fence is going to come out of there. It's going to continue sort of around like this. And it's going to just sort of wrap around the front of this particular stall. So there's a way through there if you want to go that way. But, you know, it wraps around the stall kind of nicely as well. So what we'll do is sort of throw it like that. And that gives us a nice little entrance to the market just here, where we could put, I don't know, some benches on the inside, I think. So a bench could go right there. I've got the game paused. A bench could go right there. And then we can do some signs. So let's do a food sign. Let's do a goods sign. Let's do a goods sign just up here as well. So a nice little goods sign there. We can do some food stall signs, say there and down here as well. This guy got the good deal as well. He's got the sign right by the entrance to the keep, so that's a pretty good deal there. Let's throw some barrels back here as well, just for a little bit of detail. I think it looks nice. Could maybe throw a barrel just sort of over here as well. And that's going to be a new market. And that's going to be thing number one that hopefully improves this area. So let's start the construction. Let's prioritize the construction. and let's get that done. You might have noticed during all of that, this is finished. So we can go ahead and assign a hunter. And basically, that's just going to generate leather and deer as time goes by. So we can pop in here, and we could maybe say no berries. Instead, let's do leather, and let's do deer. So we're going to be storing those in that warehouse as well, which is going to be good news because the deer is going to be sold right over here. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, isn't this market a little bit far away from everything? It kind of is, but these guys here kind of, I mean, if we're going to build residential stuff out here, we need it to be closer. So we do need a market in here, and it's going to look good. You know, I think it is going to look good. I also realize they're totally ruining my path plan here. Let me take that out, and let me do this. I want to try and force them through that midpoint there. So bring this down, go like this, and I really hope that works. I really hope that works. I hope that gives me the path that I'm looking for here. It absolutely does! There we go! Okay. So that's going to give me the path that I'm looking for. While they're building that, I also want to go ahead and throw some decorative trees in here. So I think a little tree there could be nice. And I think maybe a tree here could be kind of nice. And then maybe a tree or two sort of back here a little bit. Just sort of around the treasury. Just to make it, you know, a little nicer looking. So there we go. A few trees back there should do the job. And I just want to try and tie this little fort together because it is a little bit weird looking, I'll be honest. It is a little bit weird looking. I'm also thinking, while we're building things, we need a lumber camp. And I kind of want to throw a lumber camp right here. I know we have one up here already and one down here, but we need all the help we can get in clearing this area. Because this area, if you don't know, this is going to be our castle. And I want to build the castle out of monastery pieces. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's the plan. I want to build it out of monastery pieces so that it looks, you know, big and imposing and impressive. And it's going to take a while. It is going to take a while. I threw together some concepts for it. I didn't even record this part. I just threw together some concepts for what it's going to look like. It's going to take thousands of materials. Seriously, just thousands upon thousands. It's going to be ridiculous. It is straight up just gonna be ridiculous. But I'm actually kind of excited. So, you know, it's gonna be worth it. Speaking of the monastery, I also want to build one of those today. Or at least, well, I say build it. I want to get started on one today. Because the monastery has two things that we don't have yet. The monastery can give us honey, and it can give us herbs. So we're going to build a small monastery back here. And I know this is the area, so the castle's going to go in this space, right? The castle's going to go in this space right here. And I'm really keen to get it built, but we need to clear all the trees first. So a little monastery back here could actually look kind of cool. The only problem is the area is not as flat as I'd like it to be, so we're going to have to try and build this with all the trees around here and hope they get cleared out. Anyway, I am going to use the smaller abbey just because I think that's going to be better. I do want to raise it up a little, though, and throw door number C on there. Excuse me. I may have just absolutely destroyed a bacon sandwich, and I'm currently sipping on a cup of tea, so if I clear my throat once or twice, I'm afraid you're just going to have to deal with that. Now, let's see. I want to throw this on the side there. And I'm going to raise this up so it's about that height. And I think that looks kind of neat. I do kind of want it to be symmetrical, though, so throw it on that side as well, and that's pretty good. So what we could do here, I wonder, is... Can I throw a door on that? No. So that won't let me attach a door. It does let me attach an extension, though, which I actually think looks kind of cool, so I think I will throw the extension on there. It cuts into the windows a little bit. If I wanted to fix that, I guess just raise the building up by one. Which I guess we'll do. We'll raise these up by one, raise this up by one more. I think that looks kind of cool. We'll, of course, throw the cross on top there. And I guess at this point, we just start doing the cloister stuff. So the cloisters are basically going to go just around the edges. I'm not even thinking that I'm going to fill this in completely. I think this is going to be quite a loose sort of wall around here. Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, let's extend this the entire way back. I actually discovered as well, the cloisters do not conform to the terrain. They snap to each other and sink into the terrain, which is kind of interesting, actually. Anyway, let's see here. Herb garden. Actually doesn't want me to place it. Oh, that's interesting. So the herb garden is going to be a pain to place. That's great. Is there anywhere in here I could place it that's not going to be a pain? I guess right there. Yeah, I think that's going to have to do for the herb garden. I know it's sort of thrown in there a little bit, but honestly, I think that's about as good as it's going to get. So let's see. Can I throw a door onto this? That's something. Oh, I totally can. Beautiful. So we can get a little door in the herb garden, even though it's not properly attached. I guess, you know what? Let me turn off snapping and just ever so slightly just sink that in there. Just so it is actually attached to the building. There we go. So that'll give us a door on the back. And then we just need the apiary, which will produce honey. So I'm thinking the apiary, I'd kind of like it to go outside. I don't know how I feel about putting it right in this yard, but we'll see, I suppose. Let's see. Can I bring all these cloisters around? Now, this is where the cloisters get interesting, because they're actually sinking into the ground there. Not really sure how to feel about that. It's cool that they're not conforming to the terrain, but this is kind of one time that I think it would be nice if it did. Anyway, let's just continue, and... Ah. Now that's awkward. That's not what you want right there. Could I, by chance, throw this on there? Is this going to be an option? I don't want it to snap. We want this to just, like, not conform to the terrain, or we want it to conform to the terrain. I don't know. I think there, though, if I can get it nice and central, which that kind of is, honestly. That's probably as good as it's going to get. I mean, right about there? Is that central? It's kind of hard to tell. It's a little tricky to tell if it's central or not. Let's see. I don't want to adjust the... Oh, okay. I've just moved the entire thing. That's great. Let's see. That, to me, looks about as good as it'll... Oh, God, no. Move it back a little bit. Is that good? You know what? I think it might have to be. Right about there. I think there's good. That'll do. Yeah, that's as central as it's going to get. So that'll give us, like, kind of an entranceway on the back, I suppose. Not that we necessarily want that being used as an entranceway, but it's... Well, that's what it is. I'm going to keep everything there. I'm not really interested in giving stuff away for free right now. So if I turn on snapping, I could actually snap a building on there. Which might be interesting if we raise this up. You know, I think I might do that. I think I might do the extensions, because that way it actually looks a little bit more like an entrance. So if I take that away, and I take that away, it's kind of just an entrance at the back. Like, yeah, you can just walk over the roof and all, but I think that's probably fine. Gives us a way in, and then the apiary can go in the corner just over here. Or maybe this corner instead. Yeah, apiary right there. That'll give us herbs and honey, and that'll actually look pretty good back there. I'm also thinking it is going to be brown, because I kind of want purple for the castle. Maybe blue for the castle. I think blue might look... You know what? Go purple. We'll do purple. That's fine. Anyway, you can see here, 990 polished stone, 465 planks, 285 tools. We're not going to build that yet. It's ready to go. We're just not doing it yet. We also have an envoy. So let's send my troops away so we can get some money here. There we go. So off they go. And the monastery can be done eventually. Now let's see. The market's actually not done yet. That's great. This is, though, so assign some woodcutters to that job. And how close to being finished are we? We're actually... Oh, there we go. All right. So, berries, bread, fish, deer, clothes, worker, 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 worker. All right. That should give us a fantastic little market right there. And that'll hopefully provide pretty good service to people in this set of time. Because our happiness is pretty bad right now. It is pretty bad. Fortunately, there is a solution to that. Turns out we have berries up here. So I'm thinking we're going to get more gatherers. And I'm thinking that I might grab this tile out here and get gatherers there as well. I don't think we have berries out this way anywhere that we could use, so that's all right. Let's go ahead and grab another gathering hut then. And we'll just throw it right about there, I guess. Something like that. So we'll prioritize that work and hopefully get it done soon. And also, speaking of gathering, I saw some comments last time that were like, hey, you didn't do gathering zones or extraction zones on the new huts. You're completely right. I did that between episodes. So we've got a gathering zone there and a gathering zone over there. And I also need to take the field off this path. There we go. I think that technically makes it 2 fields, but that's probably all right. That's probably not too big of a deal. Speaking of fields... Oh, wait, before we speak of fields, hold on. Let me take this out, because that's actually working as intended. Speaking of fields, I kind of want another one. So we're going to take out this extraction zone here. Just completely. I'm also going to place a little bit of an extraction zone there, just to get rid of that tree. But I'm going to take extraction completely sort of off of that road. So just all the way down here. Just everything goes. And I'm going to put a farm in there, basically, is what I'm thinking. So I figure we do a farm. We still have, obviously, the hunting area, but we do a farm here. And it is going to be, hopefully, a good source of more wheat. Therefore, more bread. So something a bit like that. We obviously need to chop it away from the mountain. But if we just do that and sort of round off that edge there just a little bit, I think if we basically copy what we did with the clothing here, but for a bakery, what we can do, in fact, I'm going to cut this in 2, so it's 2 fields. What we can do is go in here and say, do a wheat farm there. Do a wheat farm there. Then we need some windmills, which I reckon could look kind of cool near the monastery. So I think windmill, how expensive are these? 200 each, we can afford that. So I'm thinking windmill. All right. So we do 2 new farms, 2 new windmills, and then we throw a baker just maybe in this fort for the time being. I think that could be kind of cool. And in doing that, the hope, at least, is that we will get a bunch more bread out to the people. Now, the good news is happiness is actually climbing. All right, more people are eating, more people are getting clothed, things are going well. People are using this little market. I mean, this is what I love seeing this, right? I love seeing the markets get used. I love seeing the little forts get used. But I also really, like, this is a little bit more of a micromanagement episode. I know I could go way more in depth with that. I've actually seen a few people mentioning that what I should do is try to go in and change who works where, right? So, you know, who works here, right? So, let's say Jacques, right? Where does Jacques live? He lives next... Okay, well, that was a terrible example. Basically, I need to make sure that the people I'm saying, you know, work on the farm, we need to make sure they're living nearby. So that's kind of... That's going to be an interesting little balancing act, and I think that's something that's going to... That's potentially going to come back to, you know, to bite me at some point. If I don't carefully manage that kind of stuff, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's get more foragers out here so we can get more berries. Let's get another forager on there to max out the berries. And let me also check something here. We can actually get the tax office, so I guess we might as well. We can't get anything in here right now. We need so much more Kingdom Splendor before we can get the Weaponsmith, which I'd really like to do. And in here, we've almost got everything. Now, speaking of the Weaponsmith, we can actually sell weapons to Middle for a lot of gold. That's also why I want the honey. A lot of profit there. We could sell fish too. I'm not going to bother with that. We kind of need the fish for food, so that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That's why I want to go for all these trades and stuff. I think it's going to be fantastic. Whether or not it works is yet to be seen, but that's definitely my thinking. Also, my soldiers are on the way back, so we're about to get some pretty good money. Happiness is actually up at 75, which is also fantastic news. Now, let me see something here. What are you storing right now? You could probably store more... I'm going to say more cloth right there. I don't think wool is ever going to be an issue down here, but cloth is something we want to make sure we're staying on top of. The windmills are actually coming along nicely. These guys are actually chopping down trees in here already as well. And I'm thinking I'm going to fire these three and bulldoze that. Because that's going to free up some jobs, but it's also going to mean that, you know, exclusively the lumber cutting around here is going on from these two camps. We also got free territory there. So let's grab a new territory. I'm thinking... Oh, there's a lot of stone there. More berries up that way. Berries over that way. I really want more berries, honestly. I'm really keen for more berries. I don't know if I can put... Like, can I put just another gatherer's hut on one, like, berry thing? Because if I can, then I can totally abuse that. But I'm trying to not do that. Because I mentioned that the clothing thing is a little bit of an exploit. So I'm trying to not... I guess it's not exploiting it if we just have multiple berry, like, gatherers on a berry bush, but I'm not going to do that. I think what I will do is I'll grab this land here. We could buy this one. We could buy two right now if we really wanted to. I could grab that one as well, get more berries again. But I don't think I will. I think what I'll do is throw another gathering hut here. Prioritize that. And I'm actually going to get another warehouse. I'm almost tempted to make like a central area for warehouses. That could be kind of interesting. Like maybe one warehouse per resource rather than mixed resources. I don't know if that's a good idea. That's something I'll have to look into. But what I will do is I'm going to throw a warehouse here, I think. And prioritize that as well. I'm actually going to turn off the priority on one of the... Oh, it's not prioritized at all. Never mind. Are they prioritized? No. Okay. That's fine. I thought I prioritized the work on the farms and the windmills, but apparently not. That's all right. That's no big deal. Just me, you know, having a bit of a senior moment. That's fine. Totally fine. Totally not a problem. Let's see. So we are running at 3 times normal speed. This is all being gathered. This is just so many resources. So many resources. We are never going to be storing that. That's going to take so long to build. And then we have to build it all again because we need a full castle in here. It's going to be ridiculous. That's also kind of why I'm thinking about maybe getting some kind of sort of warehouse area. You know what I mean? Get some kind of thing, like a big flat space, just tons of warehouses, all for the one resource each. Could be interesting. Might be a disaster, but it definitely could be interesting. Now, let's see. You're coming out here to build this. Are you actually going to build it in one go, or is someone else going to have to come out here and finish it? One villager lacks space for housing. That's a problem. We can fix that, though. Hold on. That is totally fixable. I've also not seen that alert in a while. But what we can do is just come in here and bring residential zoning pretty much up to the farm. And then sort of along the road as well. So just something like that should fix that problem. So there we go. Could probably take a little bit, just tidy that corner up slightly. There we go. So that should be enough space for another house, right? I would imagine. There we go. So the house is going up immediately. I'm imagining that's probably going to fix the concern with not having enough housing. The house is upgrading as well. That's fantastic news. Okay. Don't mind if I do. Don't mind if I do. I'm actually really happy about that. I love seeing the houses upgrade, even though they're not Like oh my god, 56 of them lack food? Seriously? Oh my god. Okay, that's actually disaster. That is really bad news. Oh, that could be a disaster. I'm surprised they're not leaving already. Okay. I'm actually a little nervous now. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Turn off immigration. How many people are unemployed right now? So, a decent few. That's fine. So that means we can put them all to work in the farms and the windmills and the warehouses and all that stuff. We can put them to work out here as well. So that'll get us more berries at least. This thing really needs to be finished because this is where I want to store all of the berries. And then these farms, I'm going to prioritize one of them and one of the windmills. And I'm also going to say, let's get the bakery going as well. Now, the bakery, as weird as it might be to throw a bakery into our fort, I'm totally doing it just because I think, you know, I want to fill up the fort. That's kind of where I'm at. So, bakery right there. And prioritize the bakery as well. Just so we can get more bread. I also want to have a little look here. You, right there, you are in need of religion and clothes, or goods in general. You're lacking food. Now, what I'm thinking here is, I guess you want two different types of food. You're a commoner. So I'm wondering if that is the way that works. Let me check something here. So you are a citizen. What do you want luxuries? Oh, so citizens want luxuries as well. Okay, so herbs, wine, and honey. Okay. Well, that's it. I didn't realize. Okay. Well, that's doable, I guess. We should have some wine, right? We have 190. But no one's demanding it right now is what I'm like. They're unhappy about it, but there's no need for it. So I'm wondering if that would work similarly to the clothes situation. Oh, there we go. Well, that's fantastic news. Let's get some farmers working there. And see if we can start getting some wheat, I suppose. So there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is happiness is, despite the looks of it, increasing. The bad news is about 3 or 4 people actually left over the course of the happiness getting around to increasing. Basically, it got about as low as 50. It was pretty bad. People were kind of miserable. In other good news, the bakery's nearly done. So very soon, we're going to have a full production chain here of wheat to flour to bread. So hopefully that's going to fix a few things. Hopefully that's going to get us in a spot where we're actually feeding everyone. This is our 3rd bakery as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it absolutely is. So, although I guess this one, well, actually those ones are kind of similar as well. You know, there's 2 fields right there, 2 bakeries, and then I think the only difference is, well, no, the windmills are just 3 of them. Yeah, well, I guess. Hopefully this works either way. That's kind of where I'm at here. I really don't want to be in a situation where this goes like Banished. This game's too adorable. If it can't go like Banished. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch my my Banished Let's Play. Just don't go into that with high hopes that we are gonna have everyone survive because, well, spoiler, they don't. But it's about the journey, not the destination. Wait, did you seriously? That guy seriously just came along to... Okay. He came along to hit it twice with a hammer and then he left. Just build the bakery! Come on, man. Are you the builder? I think you're the builder. Please, oh, come on, please actually build it. Please actually build it. Come on, don't you dare. Don't you dare. There we go. All right. Get those guys in there immediately. The sign is ever so slightly in the wall. That's probably fine. I'm keeping everything. The kingdom's getting nothing. Hopefully this fixes our situation, though. Happiness is again, increasing. As for over here, can we put some farmers in there? No, we don't have any. Next immigration is in 2 days, though, so we should be all right there. And I guess, let's see here. So, there's a lot of wheat. Not a lot of flour just yet. But a lot of wheat, that's fine. That can all be turned into flour. Obviously, they have a little bit of a distance to go with it, but that's actually kind of okay. I'm not too worried about that. We can get the other windmill up and working as well once the 2 new people get here. And then this right here actually needs water. Interesting. Okay, we might want to put a well in there. Maybe, let's see, where could this go? Right here? Just a little well right there for some water for the bakery. I mean, there's a well sort of just across the street, but I think one in there is probably... That's probably going to be better. And let's see, are you actually... Is anyone bringing... I'm assuming that's a box of water. Yep. That's fair enough. And I'm also assuming... Oh, look at him go. Look at him go. Yeah, again, that's how you make bread right there. Just beat the ever-living... and whatever out of it. Good lord. They're really going for it. Good news is, though, immediately 12 bread. So, I'm really hoping that fixes our problem. Now let's see, we did just get 2 new people. I don't think they're here yet. Where are they? There they are. So those 2 are going to be working one of the other windmills. I also just want to check. Berries are fairly few and far between, even though we have a dedicated warehouse for them right here. That's interesting. I guess they still have a distance to go to collect all the berries, don't they? I'm on it. You know, man, I'm honestly really tempted to change up the way I do my warehouses. Just looking at the way they go, right? I feel like it would just be better to have individual, like, one district for all of the warehouses. I mean, yeah, we have to go kind of a distance to then get the resources, but I feel like that would be better. Because then you have all the resources coming to one location. Because right now, these guys, like, from this warehouse are going all over the place. And then bringing them back here, and then those are being taken to the markets and all that stuff. I just feel like everything in one central-ish location would maybe be better. It's tricky, though. What is good, though, is this right here. We have some flour, so I'm assuming we do have some bread getting made. I'm assuming that bread does get sold in the market. I would hope it gets sold in the market. Happiness is still not quite where I'd like it to be. Food is still dwindling, apparently. But, I mean, we have fish. And we actually do have a decent amount of bread as well. I'm not sure. I think the town may have just grown a little too quickly. I'm kind of feeling like that's what's going on here. So I think, much like in Banished, we do need to try and control the population a little bit. We'll bring 2 more people in a day, which I guess is a little bit of time from here. There we go. So turn off immigration. We'll have 2 more people come in. And now we have nearly 60 people lacking food again. I don't understand it. Let me see. What's wrong with you? Now you have food. You've got bread. What about you? You don't have food. Okay. So why don't you have food? There's a market right here. And this market is selling things. Unless it's just not got enough things. Which I guess is a possibility. Do we need more fish? Because I guess we could do more fishing. I just really I feel like we have, I mean, we have 80 fish. We have 59 bread, 47 berries. How do we not have enough food for this? 69 people lack food. I don't understand. I legitimately don't understand. I'm actually very confused right now. Do we just not have enough, or do we just not have enough I don't know. You know what I'm going to do, ladies and gents? Instead of just sitting here and yelling and getting really confused, I'm going to leave it there for today. I'll take some time between episodes. I might actually stream this save for a couple of hours. So keep an eye on my Twitter and my Twitch, both of which will be linked down in the description. And I think in the next day or two, we'll stream this save and see if we can figure out the problems there. I probably won't record it, because most of the time will be spent doing little bits of micromanagement and gathering resources, so there won't be any major changes to the layout of the town. But I think we do need to sit and try and figure out just what exactly we can do to fix this. I'm also thinking, just before we wrap this up, I want to go in here, and I'm just going to do a large sort of strip of residential zoning just there. Just right there. People can sort of build their houses, go to town, do what they need to do, and that'll hopefully get rid of the demand there was for another house. Happiness is actually climbing again. There's a lot of people just got food. Oh, I'm confused. I'm very confused. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do us for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any ideas for what's up here and what I can do to fix it, do let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, like the video. If you disliked it, then dislike it and tell me why. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!